What's up, family? This is your boy Gerald. It is approximately 3:38 in the morning. A beautiful Saturday morning. I know you should be sleeping right by now, so I'm dropping this now so that it'll be there when you see it. I know y'all saying, well, Gerald, why are you up? It's because Gerald has not ended his day yet. You know they always say the early bird always catches the worm, but I'm a firm believer if your feet are grounded, they can never catch you slipping. That's why it's very important that you stay aware of your surroundings, because there's always going to be someone that is going to try to test your foundations of what you believe through illustration and, unfortunately, through covert manipulation if you allow. That's why, people, it's very important that you love yourself unconditionally. I know that needs to go out to someone. I know it do. Just know you're loved, you're prayed for. But we all gotta do our work. We all gotta do our work. We all gotta do our work. Because see, it's your life. Now at first I wasn't gonna put this out because the fact that, I got the TV in the background, you know me. I was watching a little bit of MMA, and yeah, everybody's gearing up to watch the fight. Uh, see the outcome is. You know, I know I'm kind of interested in stuff, but needless to say, I had something drop into my spirit, and I watched through the social media to see if anyone would talk about it, because it's always been there. And I know you're saying, well, get to the point, Gerald. What do you mean? Do you guys see what's going on socially? How the media now is starting to push, or there's starting to be a insurgence of how things are being demonstrated on your TV set in regards to creative display. Now let's take the allegory out of it. Have you noticed that now even the videos, they're starting to put the colors back in there to give that psychedelic effect? Now, for some of you that may not know this, but for some of those who may be 35 plus, you know this very well. You remember about 20 plus years ago when there was this big mandate out there and this big social cry about how imagery would be displayed because people were starting to have effects and having seizures because it connected to epilepsy. Well, last time I checked, there hasn't been a cure for epilepsy. But there sure has been an insurgence of that old familiar face called bait and switch. So that got me thinking, because I'm saying, there had to be somebody that had said, hey, this is not the look. This is not the way we should go. For my music heads, do not mask what is deemed creativity or artist interpretation for covert means. Now, I know some of y'all may be saying, well, Gerald, why would you care about what I do and what I see in the confounds of where I live or where I lay my head? No, I'm not trying to intrude, but I think you should know this. See, you do understand that what's at stake is your life, right? You do, right? Have you not realized how unique but powerful your destiny is? Why do you think that you see what you see and have to endure with what you have been seen or shown thus far? It's because there are those that don't want you to become who you are destined to be. Why do you think you're dreaming the way you do? Why do you think you've seen and experienced the things you have thus far? How long are you going to continue to persuade yourself what has already been deemed a reality? Haven't you not realized right now how blessed your life is? It's within your grasp right now. But at the end of the day, we all have to respect, even though it can be painful at times, the power of free will. So I see it through my eyes, and I see that what's at stake. You see, the same things that are going on right now being used in film, in music videos, because we all know music videos are nothing but snippets of film. Thank you, my angels. See that? Well, guess what? You ain't one of them. See, overall, there's somebody taking notes on cause and effect. This ties into the free will. See, do you remember about what went down about 15, 20 years ago? Took the world by storm. Do you remember? Especially starting in the music genre. Remember how big raves used to be? You remember? And what came out of that? You started seeing people using ecstasy and hallucinogens. Well, guess what? When you're using hallucinogens in that environment, you get that effect. So they didn't figure it out. Well, you know what? What if I turn around and make my videos like that? It may spark some nostalgia now, won't it? So ultimately, guess what? Some habits are not broken for some people. But now, what a lot of people weren't not aware of is right now, and this is what concerns me, is now there's a big insurgent. My parents heed the words of a brother. You're starting to see a resurrection socially of the use of LSD. And everybody knows historically that ain't the way to go. Because the ultimate price in that, if it doesn't kill you, it destroys your brain. So let's go there. You know how they said the old slogan of which was used as the anchor for the NAACP in the 70s. They used to play it all the time. And their mantra was, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And it's true. Because, see, they realize this. If you invest in yourself, you're going to make sound decisions. And if you make sound decisions, you are going to be financially savvy. You're not going to impulsively spend your money. You're not going to just be frivolous in where it goes, which ultimately spawns what? The economy. It also generates jobs. Because if you have people that are strung out, well, they got to either go to the hospital or they're going to end up going to jail, or worse, end up on a slab somewhere. And see, they realize that now. And they realize that this generation here, for those that are in their 20s, 25 and below, heed the word. As I mentioned in my last video, you were born or birthed in the age of technology. You have technology at your fingertips. But see, they also know that your attention span is like that. So you're easily influenced. The way you shop, the way you value your time. Because time is money. So if I turn around and introduce a pattern that is consistent to the way that you live your life, I've just birthed a behavior, which pretty much becomes what? Uncashed cow. That's why it's very important that you invest in yourself. Don't get caught up in things that do not have the potential to stand the test of time. Because see, what's at stake is your legacy. Queens, you know my position. You know how society wants to play you. You already know. My kings, come on now. They don't want you to stand up. They don't want you to do that because they will prefer you to bend down or bend over. And if you don't do that, they'd rather bury you. And if they can't do that, they say, to hell with it. We'll get to you when we can. We got that nice 8x10. Yeah, you know I'm speaking truth. So it's very important that you do not squander your life. That's why I'm a firm believer of this. Shortcuts always cut your life short. That's why there's only one you. But it just struck me to the core because at first I didn't see it. But then I started seeing patterns. First, they introduced it in the video games. Yeah, y'all remember that? There were certain video games they tried to take off the market because people were having seizures from it. But slowly but surely, they crept it back in. They crept it back in. They just put a new bow on it. They repackaged it. But The damage was still waiting for the unsuspected consumer. Fast forward, birth of different music. Oh, gotta make sure you got your alcohol there, because the party ain't a party unless you're getting turned up, which ultimately does what? Gets you turned out. And you know what happens when you get turned out? You get turned away. That's a price that you shouldn't pay, y'all. I know that needs to go out to someone. I know somebody right now don't even realize it, but you're about to wake up in a place that you know nothing about. You're going to roll over to a stranger you don't know, bartering what was most valuable, your self-worth. Stop playing that game of roulette. You're going to crap out if you continue to go down that road. And I don't wish that on anyone, because you're priceless. You're priceless. You're priceless. But if you don't hear what I'm saying, you're slipping. You're slipping, and eventually you're going to fall. Because guess what? For every prideful spirit, the fall is right behind it. It's right behind them. And some of us, we know, we've all been there. Those reckless 20s. Some of you that are in your 20s, the best investment you could ever do is learn from the mistakes of those who have come before you. It'll save you a whole lot of time, money, and emotion if you do so. But if not, you're deemed to repeat the cycle. And that's unfortunate, because that is time wasted. Because you deserve better. But yep, I peeped game and I realized, I said, wait a minute. What's up with these trailers they're using? These effects that they're putting in stuff. Then I thought about it. Well, if I was impaired, that's going to give me an effect. And then it clicked. A lot of this stuff that's out there is designed for a certain type of consumer. And that consumer is the one that is seeking that high. Ain't nothing gonna come out of that is death. Ain't no high in that. And you better than that. You better than that. You better than that. So when they say all things come full circle, they do. They really, really do. I'm just gonna shut my mouth on that, y'all. Peep game, what's going on? It's just, haven't you realized socially now everything is being hidden in plain sight? But they already know that, because your attention span is like that. They can boldly put it out there because you're not gonna pay it any attention. Watch out for that truck, because come on now, come on now. I mean, look what's at stake. The moral fiber. Don't you think it's kind of ironic? I'm gonna say this and leave it alone. What's been going on the last 3 months? Been hearing all these debates, right? Why is nobody putting God in the mix? Because they all telling lies. Your soul is not for sale, y'all. Do your homework when it's time to vote. Do your homework. And for that person that's saying, well, Gerald, they crooks anyway, I ain't gonna vote for them. Well, guess what? Every time you choose not to vote, you just voted for the person that you don't want in office. And if you don't invest in doing research on the constituent, well, guess what? You just took yourself by non-acts and put yourself in a position of those who do not stand for what you believe in. So pretty much you don't have a voice because you choose not to use it. That's what I'm saying. You're smarter than that. So, I know y'all saw the news with what was going on in Paris right now. Hearts go out to those who lost loved ones and stuff like that. I've been to Paris. I've been to Paris before, and it's a beautiful city. If you ever get an opportunity to go, by all means go. Um, but like I said, once again, for the next 2 weeks, you're gonna hear a lot of speculation on who, what, why, and when. Fact check everything, but keep in mind who the messenger is, because you never know. Maybe they have a bias, and guess what? Even the reporter, it's their interpretation. Fact check your information before you think it is gospel. Come on now. You're smarter than that. Already right now they're trying to say this is this and this is this. Until we actually know, we can't, we're speculative. But then again, I also know this. Everything you see on that TV is scripted too. You do know that, right? Everything. Everything. You know why they do that? They do that for the impressionable. Those that won't waste their time to get a second opinion. That's how the economies go, y'all. Come on. That's why there's no good news in news. Why? Because they make money off of fear. So, anyway, that's just my opinion on that. But my heart goes out to those who lost loved ones. And, you know, I wasn't going to say nothing, but I am going to say something also. You know what I think is kind of funny? I was on Facebook and I heard that somebody made an excerpt on when Trump said, I blow everything up and I do this and I do that, right? And then he's echoed numerous times how he would build a wall to keep people out, right? Freedom said that, right? Now, you know how I can't remember. I'm gonna just say this and because it's the only way I can describe it. Because I can't remember the comedian that said it, but take, I gotta take his thing, his little zinger to explain my point. Now, you've heard him say a lot of extreme uh, points of view, right? Now, you do understand why he does that, right? You do understand, right? He does that for two reasons. Number one, Donald Trump has nothing to lose. He has nothing to lose. Because today could be the last day of the election. He could get not one vote. And guess what? He's still going to be a very wealthy man. So economically, it has no recourse if he loses. Actually, if he does lose, he actually gains more because guess what? That becomes a major tax write-off. So he doesn't lose out. Plus, he got to rub more elbows that he didn't have before he decided to run. Number two is he's just saying what people have felt that did not have the courage to say it themselves because fear of recourse. And once again, he's a wealthy man. So it's the odds and likelihood of someone going to be have retribution off of what comes out of his mouth is slim and none. He knows that too. So he doesn't have anything to lose. Third, with all these extremist uh, points he was using, like the wall and and I'd blow things up and Now mind you, this is a future commander in chief, but I saw somebody put something out with that, and I said, well, okay, if the intentions is to keep threats out, you got to first know what the threat is. You got to first know what it is. Have you not realized that still to this day, we do not know, we have an archetype of what the threat is by a name. By a name. But we can't say, well, it's them. They look like that. Better yet, if we put a wall up to protect the threat out, what about the threat that's inside that is homegrown? I was looking at the news today. They said that since being known, uh, those terror cells, I'm not going to speak. I'm not giving nobody no acknowledgement on it, but those people, there has been 65 of our own people trying to affiliate themselves for that warped cause. So that contradicts the thought of putting a wall up around our borders. You got to know what the threat looks like to protect against it. But what if the threat is from our own shores? Our biggest threat, y'all, comes right here. This, the internet. That predator can't get to your babies unless this is on. That's why parenting is so important. Stop being their friend and be their parent. Make it your business to be in their business. But society has made it so that if you become a parent to protect your own, they will lock you up. I mean, what do you expect? You took prayer out of church, out of school. You took discipline out of schools. And you took parenting from parents. Now, there's a line from being abusive and disciplining your child. There is a line. But I know that when I came up, as dysfunctional as I did, I made it through. I didn't have no record. Mm-mm. You didn't have to worry about me being on the news. And if there was a fist of cuffs, you lived another day. Not, oh, I'm gonna take your life. Come on. We've gotten to that point that people don't fight no more. And if they don't fight, and they only fight because they don't know how to communicate their thoughts. They don't know how to talk. But more importantly, they don't know how to listen. So you got all these prideful spirits running around, causing havocs, fragmenting homes, and destroying lives. For what? I'll tell you what. Because the devil's banking that you won't see your work. I've been yelling that for 4 years. And I'll keep yelling it until God says you've done your work. Because I see your work. Even though you might not want to see your work, I still see your work. So, what I thought was ironic that Mr. Trump has made all these extreme things of what he would do if he was appointed commander-in-chief. But the first thing that stood out for me was he's a savvy businessman. We all know that. What about being a diplomat? What about diplomacy? Taking a hardline approach as a solution does not always work. Sometimes it perpetuates the issue initially. So, to get to my point, this is why I was saying I couldn't think of the comedian's name, but his phrase was, I didn't heard that bullshit before. And I was trying to figure out where. Where had I seen this before? And then I got it. You want to throw a wall up? Who did the first wall? Stalin. So let's call a spade a spade. Why didn't he run independent and say, well, you know what? I'm a capitalist. Because you're about that almighty dollar. That would fit the MO, don't you think? Could he make our economy grow? Sure he could. Could he run it? That's what got me scratching my head. And it should scratch your head too. Because these people are playing with your life. You don't even realize that. But if you don't invest in who you are, you're just being sheep. You're sheeple. I know somebody's pissed off right now. Good. Be pissed off. But if it makes your eyes focus a little more on things that you may have taken for granted, then it was all worth it. Because taking these, we can't afford these L's. We can't. Your life is too precious. So why are you going to let dumb people tell you how or what you need? But if you don't have your boundaries up, you might as well give them the keys to your life so they can run it in the ground. Look at what's going on, y'all. Look what's going on. First civil liberties, now going to be civil rights. Come on. They'll put it this way. They'd rather flood the economy with 55-inch TVs at $300 a pop than build a school or throw a book in there. What's up with that? Because They don't want you to be smart. They want you to use that smart technology. That's what, come on, man. Do you not see that? It wants you to be dumbed down. Come on, queens. You already know what society wants you to be. Come on, my kings. They need, the queens need you to stand up, man up, and love yourself more. Even though she's so prideful and she won't admit it, she needs you. She needs you more than you ever know. But if she don't need your, but if she doesn't see your worth, keep it stepping. Keep it stepping. Because she might be the one that's holding you back from who you destined to be all along. Hey, Belle Biv DeVoe said it best. Don't let a pretty face and a big behind fool you, boy. Come on now. You looking at her like he talking about you. What's your instinct tell you? What's it tell you? Have the courage to follow it. Love yourself. Your legacy is what's at stake. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, for that, for that, it helps me discern mine. It's time to wake up, y'all. Stop sleeping on your life. Be blessed.